Welcome to Darnley Cyber Cafe, your digital information haven for coffee aficionados. In an age where data is currency and every click could be a threat, knowledge is your greatest defense. I'm your host, Darnley Greson Jr., and this is a podcast where we illuminate the dark corners of our digital world. Join us as we navigate the ever-changing currents of cybersecurity news, IT security, and the latest in the cyber landscape. Whether you're a seasoned IT professional, a business executive, or just curious about the forces shaping our digital future, Darnley Cyber Cafe is your digital coffee house guiding you through the noise. I'm here to break down the headlines, decode the jargon, and deliver actionable insights to protect your data, your business, and your peace of mind. So, fasten your digital seatbelts and prepare to embark on a journey through the ever-changing world of cyber threats, news, and IT security. Darnley Cyber Cafe, your digital information haven for coffee aficionados, starts now. Welcome to my cafe, episode number 87, Screen Hacks. Today's podcast is where cybersecurity meets the silver screen. Today, we're peeling back the layers of Hollywood hacking, from chaotic typing and improbable mainframes to the moments of when pop culture eerily predicts the future. I'm breaking it all down. Whether you're a cybersecurity pro, a movie buff, or just curious about the intersection of tech and entertainment, this episode's for you. All right, let's get into it. So today, I'll be breaking it down into different segments to make it a little bit more digestible for you all. So this first segment, I'll be talking about the Hollywood hack checklist. So what do the movies like The Matrix, Mr. Robot, and Hackers get right? Or hilariously wrong? So some of the classic tropes that I've seen are things like the hacker who furiously types on multiple screens to break in the mainframe in a matter of minutes. Green code scrolling dramatically as a visual cue for advanced hacking. I'm doing air quotes here. And instant access granted pop-ups after bypassing this sophisticated security. So what's the fact versus fiction here? Now, compare some of these tropes I mentioned with real-life hacking techniques like, for example, brute force attacks, social engineering, and the patience required for sophisticated breaches. I will emphasize on patience. An example would be in Jurassic Park, if you remember the original one. They have those Unix systems. The scene where, that hacker Dennis Nedry and the other computer guy Ray Arnold basically use this Unix system to run the entire park. This, for those who remember, this scene which showed the Unix system was a completely fictionalized interface. In reality, accessing systems isn't about flashy graphics. Trust me, it's often long, mundane command lines. So I'm going to rate the hack, which quickly and briefly ranks famous hacking scenes based on realism, and I'll use a 1 to 10 scale. The 1995 Hackers movie with Angelina Jolie, for those who remember that one, the psychedelic visuals. Sorry, I'm reminiscing about this, but the psychedelic visuals for the quote unquote hacking, to me, earns a 3 for realism, but a number 10 for fun. Hack the Planet, Mr. Robot, which is frequently lauded for its accurate depiction of tools like Kali Linux and social engineering. I give an 8 for realism. The second segment, I'm going to talk about pop culture predicting the future. So when have pop culture actually predicted real cyber events today? So I'll first start with War Games. 1983 was introduced the concept of cyber warfare decades before it became a real concern. Just like the 2010 Stuxnet attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. The next one is The Net, 95. predicted identity theft and the risks of an interconnected world. And the most famous one, Black Mirror, episodes like Nosedive and Hated in the Nation explore a social credit system and bot driven cyber attacks, both of which are becoming real issues today. I do discuss this in more details in episode 59 titled Netflix Black Mirror Becoming Reality. That would be a good deep dive into various scenarios through different episodes for your listening pleasure. So I want to just explore on how much research actually goes into creating these scenarios. So are the writers just incredibly imaginative, or are they just warning us of what is already possible? I'll speak for Black Mirror as I've done quite a bit of research into the episodes. Now, the creator Brooker and his team consulted technologists, scientists, and ethicists to ensure the scenarios are grounded in actual technological trends, many of which took years to come into the spotlight in mainstream media or just general mainstream internet. Now, for example, the episode Hated in the Nation, this one was about autonomous drone bees, drew on existing research into drone technology and the concerns about the real-world decline of bee populations. Now, the episode Nosedive, which was based on the rise of social media platforms and the concept of social credit systems. This is extremely similar to China's social credit program. The entire History of You episode inspired by developments in wearable tech, such as, at the time, Google Glass, and debates about surveillance and memory privacy. And lastly, episode Archangel explores parental surveillance, drawing on trends like child tracking apps and debates about helicopter parenting. So rather than creating pure science fiction, Black Mirror focuses on human interactions with technology, making the dystopias feel more relatable. Essentially, writers studied emerging trends in privacy, corporate influence, and psychological responses to this technology. And the Black Mirror team leveraged both imagination and thorough research to create stories that feel hauntingly plausible by extrapolating real-world technologies and behaviors. The show bridges the gap between speculative fiction and reality, making it a chilling reflection of our potential future. I'm going to play a quick trivia game with all of you, which I'm calling Predict or Fiction. So guess as I speak whether a specific cybersecurity issue first appeared in pop culture or real life. I hope this kind of goes into this particular episode. So number 1, cyber warfare, war games, 1983. The scenario is a teenager unintentionally hacks into a military supercomputer, nearly starting World War III. So I'm going to pause after this question just for you to think about it. Did the concept of cyber warfare originate in pop culture or real life concerns? I'll give you a second to think about that. So the answer is fiction, which is real life. So while war games dramatized the idea, it was inspired by genuine fears about computer vulnerabilities in military systems during the Cold War. And thanks to this movie, for example, the US government actually created policies to protect against this. Number 2, AI-controlled warfare, Terminator, 1984, my favorite one. This scenario is a self-aware AI system that launches cyber attacks to eliminate humanity. Now, I kind of put that interestingly, given today's calamities. But so my question is, did this chilling concept originate in pop culture or real-world technological fears? I'll give you a second to think about that. So my answer is predict. So that's made by pop culture. And the reason for this is Terminator popularized the fear of AI-driven cyber warfare. It wasn't until decades later that those discussions around AI risks in warfare gained real-world traction. So you can understand in 84 that this was sort of I hate saying this, but like a pipe dream. with sort of the progression of where we're going. So, anyways, thanks for playing this podcast game. Understand that pop culture and cybersecurity are kind of like a feedback loop. One inspires the other. Okay, anyways, let's dive back into this podcast. So, segment number 3, cybervillains from fiction to reality. Now, I'm going to quickly talk about the evolution of the cybervillain in the media. So, some iconic cybervillains are Elliot Alderson. My apologies, from Mr. Robot. This is a sympathetic anti-hero hacker exposing corporate corruption. The next one is Skynet, Terminator, the ultimate AI gone rogue against humanity. The next one is Lisbeth Salander. This is the girl with a dragon tattoo. This is a hacker with a moral compass. Now, I will just briefly mention some parallels to their real-world counterparts. So cybercriminals such as Anonymous, Fancy Bear, or various ransomware gangs. I don't want to get too much into that. So understand that, think about, if you could do this in your head, if you're a movie buff or whatever, rank these villains based on their technological skills, motive, and the sheer entertainment value. So for example, is Skynet's AI omnipotence scarier than Elliot Alderson's surgical precision? I'll leave that for you to answer. This next segment is the cyber lessons from Hollywood. So what has pulp culture taught us about cybersecurity, intentionally or not? Now, there's a lot of things we can learn here. So, for example, there's a lot of practical lessons hidden in various movies. So, for example, every outdated firewall trope, keep your software up to date. USB drive attacks, don't plug in random USBs. It's a classic entry point for malware. And social engineering in the movie Mr. Robot. Trust can be a hacker's strongest tool. So what do they get wrong? The magic one-size-fits-all hack undermines the importance of preparation and specialization in real cybersecurity. It takes a lot of time and energy and know-how in order to compartmentalize each cyber risk to yourself and or your business. So understand, Hollywood has given us a lot to think about. Some accurate insights, some hilariously off-base dramatic events, and a few predictions that have eerily come true. So next time you're watching a cyber thriller, take a closer look. You might just spot the next big trend in cybersecurity. Or at least have a good laugh at the inaccuracies. So what's your favorite hacking scene in movies or TV? I have a lot to go through, but it's probably not the time to go on about that. But just remember, stay secure, stay skeptical, both online, in real life, and at the movies. Thanks for listening to this episode of Darnley Cyber Cafe. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for weekly episode releases, because in the world of cybersecurity, knowledge is power. Oh, while you're still here, don't forget, there are no strangers here. Next time you come back to the cafe, bring your friend. I'll see you soon. Cheers.